Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's co-production between the English College of Prague and New York University in Prague of The Memorandum. We'd like to take this time to remind you to kindly turn off your mobile devices and anything that will make a noise that's not coming from our actors. And other than that, just enjoy the show. Thank you so much for coming.
Are you here?
Yes, we are.
I didn't hear you come.
We entered quietly.
Have you been here long?
Not long.
Well, what is it?
We've come to ask your advice, Mr. Gross.
Go on, Bells.
Why should Mr. P record the incoming mail?
Couldn't be more obvious, Bells, in the incoming mail.
It's full, isn't it, Mr. P?
So soon.
I'm afraid so.
Well, then you will have to buy a new one.
Afraid we have no money to buy a new one, have we, Mr. P?
What do you mean, no money? Buy yourself a new one.
Thank you, Mr. Gross. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mr. P, let's go.
Morning.
Morning.
Maria,
Yes, Mr. Goss?
any idea what this is?
This is a very important office memorandum, Mr. Goss.
Well, to me it looks like random groups of letters.
Perhaps, at first glance, but in fact, there's method in it. It's written in Taidepe, you see?
In what?
In Taidepe.
Taidepe. What is it?
It's a new office language which is being introduced into our organization. They don't get the milk.
Wait, there is a new language being introduced into our organization. I don't remember being informed.
They must have forgotten to tell you.
Who thought it up?
It seems to be a full-scale campaign. Elsie said it's being introduced into their department too.
Does my deputy realize what's going on?
Miss Bowers? Of course she does. They don't get the milk.
Run along.
We've come to tell you that we've just purchased a brand new incoming mailbox. Haven't we, Mr. P?
Good.
But the Department of Authentication refuses to authenticate it.
Why?
The new book hasn't been registered by the purchasing department on account of it not being purchased by the department's money. So, legally, it doesn't exist. That's it, Mr. P.
Say I asked them to authenticate it on my own personal responsibility. My position is solid now. I think I can go so far.
Excellent. Would you mind giving it to us in writing?
I don't mind taking risks, but I am not a gambler. A verbal order will have to do.
All right. I guess we'll have to try and talk him into accepting it. Mr. P, let's go.
Moment, Beth.
Yes, Mr. Gross.
Do you know anything about the new language?
I think I've heard about it. I seem to recall Mr. P telling me about it some time ago.
And do you recall who ordered its introduction?
Who was it? Mr. P, do you know?
Well, you are my deputy, aren't you?
Yes.
Well then, it wasn't me. So it could only have been you.
One gives so many orders each day, one can hardly be expected to remember them all.
Don't you think you ought to consult me on such matters?
We don't want to bother you with little things.
Why is it being introduced?
As a sort of experiment. It's supposed to make office communications more accurate and bring precision and order into their terminology. Am I putting it correctly, Mr. P?
Was it ordered from above?
Not directly.
To tell you the truth, I'm far from happy about it. You need to find a way to stop the whole thing at once. We don't want to be somebody's guinea pig, do we?
Morning.
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 All right, I'll cancel my directive and try to retrieve all the tied-up texts sent out so far and have them translated back into natural language.
Kindly do that.
We don't want to be somebody's guinea pig, do we?
Exactly.
Mr. P, let's go.
There.
Yes, of course, Mr. Gross.
Thank God I've nipped it in the bud. Did they seriously think anybody would want to learn this gibberish?
Special tied-up classes have been set up for all departments, Mr. Gross.
Indeed, anybody joins them?
Yes. Everybody except you, Mr. Gross.
Really?
It was an order.
Who's ordered?
Miss Ballas's.
What? She didn't tell me anything about that. Anyway, I fail to see how our staff could be expected to use this privately when most of them couldn't have possibly learned it yet.
That's why a translation center is set up. But it's only temporary until everyone has learned tied-up. May I go and get the robes?
Well, a translation center. Where on earth did they find a place for that at all?
The translation center is on the first floor, room 6. May I go and get the robes?
That's the accounts department.
No. The accounts department has been moved to the cellar, Mr. Cross. May I go get the rolls, please?
On her order.
Yes, also on her order.
That's the limit.
May I go and get the rolls?
Now what?
I'm afraid you'll have to give us the order in writing after all.
I will do nothing of the sort.
To be in your own interest.
What do you mean, my own interest?
If you give it to us in writing, you'll greatly simplify the work of our clerical staff. And, given the rumours which have lately been circulating among them, it'll be a good tactical move on your part.
What rumors?
Oh, about the unfortunate banking stamp.
What banking stamp?
Apparently, during the last audit, it transpired that you were in the habit of taking the bank endorsement stamp home for your children to play with.
That's ridiculous. Of course, I've taken that particular rubber stamp home a few times, but not as a plaything. There are nights when I need to take my work home to get it all done.
You don't have to explain to us, but you know how people are.
And you think this piece of paper would smooth things over?
I'll guarantee you that.
All right then, as far as I'm concerned, if it's typed, then I will sign it.
Thank you, Mr. Goss. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mr. P, let's go.
Oh. Moment, Bells.
Yes, Mr. Goss.
Did you cancel the introduction of TIDEP?
Not yet.
Why not?
There doesn't seem to be the right sort of atmosphere among the authorities for that sort of move just now. We wouldn't want it to be used against us.
That's just an excuse.
Mr. Gross, you don't believe us and we're hurt.
You've bypassed me. You've moved the accounts department to the
That's
cellar.
only half the truth.
Well, what's the other half?
I've ordered lights to be installed in the cellar next year.
Be that as it may, you've bypassed me. You've moved the accounts department to the cellar, you set up TIDEP Translation Center, you set up TIDEP classes, and you made the study of TIDEP obligatory for all the staff members.
Outside their working hours.
That's beside the point.
Mr. Gross, I fully agree that I may not bypass you on things concerning the staff's activities during their working hours. As for anything outside of those hours, I believe I can do as I please.
Dallas, you've been taking too many decisions on your own authority.
Naturally, we hold the same critical attitude towards TIDEP that you do, Mr. Gross. Only we think that if we can manifest certain initiative, it will be of great help to our whole organization.
Let me make a suggestion, Dallas.
Yes.
Let's be quite blunt with each other for a while, shall we? Why did you say that you hold a critical attitude towards TIDEP?
Matter of tactics.
A little short-sighted.
I wouldn't say so.
Never occurred to you that sooner or later I would see through your tactics?
Mr. Gross, we knew that you'd create obstacles, so that we arranged it so that you wouldn't see what we were after until we were strong enough to surmount your obstacles. There's nothing you can do to stop us now. Only TIDEP can put their work on a truly scientific basis.
Those? You're forgetting that I am the managing director.
We cannot ignore the stand of the masses.
I won't be dictated to by a mob.
You call it a mob, we call it the masses.
You call it masses? It is a mob. I am a humanist. And my concept of directing this organization derives from the idea that every single member of the staff is human and must become more and more human. If we take from him his human language created by centuries-old tradition of national culture, we shall have prevented him from becoming fully human, plunge him straight into the jaws of self-alienation. Now, I'm not against precision in official communication, but I'm for it only so far as it humanizes man. In accordance with this my innermost conviction, I can never agree to the introduction of TIDEP into our organization.
Are you prepared to risk open conflict? Mr. P? Mr. Gross, it seems you are not yet ripe for realistic discussion. Let's give him, what do you say, an hour? Time is on our side. He'll be sorry, Mr. P. Let's go.
Unheard of! Good morning, Maria.
Morning.
Maria,
Yes, Mr. Gross?
do you know TIDEP?
No.
Well, then how did you know this was an official memorandum?
They say that in the first stages, TIDEP was used only for official memorandum, and these are now being received by some of the staff.
What are those memos about?
All sorts of things, very positive and very negative ones.
Where did you learn all of this?
In the shop this morning.
Where did you say the translation center is?
First floor, room 6.
Well, former accounts department. Well, I am off to lunch.
Mr. Gross, you like it? They have duck in the canteen today.
Good morning, guten Tag.
Tadabe, as you know, is a synthetic language built on a strictly scientific basis. Its grammar is constructed with a maximum rationality. Its vocabulary is unusually broad. It is a thoroughly exact language capable of expressing with far greater precision than any current natural tongue, or the minutest nuances in the formulation of important office documents. The result of this precision, of course, is the complexity and difficulty of learning Tadabe. There are many months of intensive study ahead of you, and without a steadfast face, no one has yet been able to learn it. Now let's turn briefly to some of the basic principles of Tadabe. As far as visual communications are concerned, the greatest deficiency out of any natural language is its utter unreliability, which stems from its structural units. Words are highly interchangeable and equivocal. You all know that in a natural language, it is often enough to exchange one letter for another. Goat, boat, love, dove, or to simply remove one letter. Fox, ox, and the whole meaning of the word is thus changed. The significant aim of Tadabe is to guarantee with every statement a degree of precision, reliability, and lack of equivocation quite unattainable in any natural language. To achieve this, Tadabe makes use of the following postulation. If similarities between words will be minimized, the words must follow the least probable combination of letters.
Come on, baby, do the...
Tadabe thus follows the 60% dissimilarity theorem, which states that any Tadabe word must differ by at least 60% of any Tadabe word of the same length. For example, out of all the 500 combinations for the alphabet, and there are 11,801,376, only 432 differ by at least 3 letters, i.e. 60% of the total. Out of these 432 combinations, only 17 fulfills the other Tadabe requirements that have hence rendered them as Tadabe words. Hence it is clear that in Tadabe, so often occur words which are very long indeed.
Sir,
Now,
would you mind telling us which is the longest word in Tadabe?
yeah, certainly. It is the word meaning wombat. It has 319 letters. You see, Tadabe follows an entirely logical principle. The more common the meaning, the shorter the verb. For example, the most commonly term so far known is the term whatever. In Tadabe, the term whatever is rendered as the word. As you can see, this word has only 2 letters, but there exists, however, an even shorter word, and that is the word. But this word carries no meaning. I wonder if any of you can tell me why. Yeah.
It is being held in reserve in case science should discover a term even more commonly used than the term whatever.
Correct. You get an A. Tommy!
Good morning.
Morning.
I've dropped in to get acquainted with the activities of the Translation Center. I am the managing director.
Ah, sir, the managing director.
Joseph Gross.
Ah, very good to meet you, sir. I didn't recognize you. I've been here just a very short time, so I haven't met everybody. My name is Stroll. I'll be head of Translation Center. Do sit down. We are still grappling with a few problems.
That's clear enough.
Oh, it's no easy matter, you know.
I see.
Now, tell me exactly, what would you like to find out?
I would like to see how you organize the process of making translations. Do you do them one-on-one ways?
We'll make a translations from TiDePed one-on-one ways for any member of organization who has an authorization to have a TiDePed text translated.
Does one need a special authorization?
Arigato!
Morning!
Have you heard there's duck for lunch today?
What? Did you say duck?
I pick you up on the way to Kansas, right?
Right! The sooner the better. I don't want duck, you know. Now what were we talking about?
You were saying that one needs a special authorization.
Right. But now look here. We the staff to use TiDePed, but we're no experts, let's face it. We're no linguists, are we? So naturally the exploitation and the development which cannot be left in our hands alone. Excuse me.
Alex here!
I don't know who that is.
You're not part of this company,
On the
babe.
contrary, I'm the managing director.
Are you sweet? Must do something about this coffee bar. I mean it. It's a damn shame to see our girls traipse miles for a cup of coffee. It really is. Does anybody think about people in this company?
And who, if I may ask, are you?
I'm the chairman. But you can call me Nellie.
Chairman.
Of what? Don't know of what just yet. As a matter of fact, we're having a meeting about that very thing this afternoon. But I'm already so damned busy, I don't know which way to turn. They don't give you time to have a proper look around, and they expect you straight away to start cleaning up their smelly little messes. See you later, babe.
You don't like duck?
I do. You were saying that TiDePed cannot be left in your hands alone.
That's right. That's why the department starts to use TiDePed is assigned a specialist to ensure that TiDePed gets used correctly.
Morning.
Morning.
Our TiDePed will do this task by issuing a special authorization for every single translation, which enables him to recall all outgoing translations from TiDePed.
Would you mind putting them by the filing cabinet?
Thus, he obtains all the necessary material for various statistics on the basis of which he then directs the use of TiDePed.
So if I've understood you correctly, you will give a translation only to those members of the staff who are able to produce an authorization from your TiDePed.
Huh? Right.
Hey, are you ready?
Where's my cutlery?
Who is your TiDePed? Who is your TiDePed?
Has it been washed?
Of course.
Who is your TiDePed?
Huh?
Who is your TiDePed?
Adapter Sabat here.
How do you do? I'm Joseph Gross, the managing director.
How do you do? I'm Alex Savan, the master therapist.
I would like to work with you, Mr. Savant.
Are you going to ask for a breast?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Gross, but we're in Moscow and have our lunch. You don't want to miss it. I prefer leg.
Don't you have a cigar by any chance?
I don't smoke. I'm sorry.
What is this?
A cigar?
Well, may I take one?
Oh, no, Mr. Strozzi's counted and he'd be very angry if you did.
I see.
Filing?
What?
Guess
I
who?
beg your pardon?
First you must
Take your
guess!
hands off at once.
First you must guess.
CIA?
No!
FBI?
No!
DEA? NSA?
No!
Then it's IRS?
No!
Please, silly IRS, take your hands off at once.
Shall I tell you?
Oh, please!
You're not Alex. I
No.
thought it was Alex. Hasn't he shown
Not
up yet?
Alex. Charming manners.
He's gone to lunch.
Starchy, aren't you?
What the hell? It was just a bit of fun. See you later, sweetie.
Don't you have a cigar by any chance?
You already asked.
Of course.
Filing?
Of course. Good God, it wouldn't hurt him, would it?
That was simply delicious. The way it was cooked, straight through and yet so crispy.
I think it was better last time.
Not juicy enough. I think the very best was the time before last.
Dr. Savant.
Maria,
Yes.
would you go and see if Mr. Anglais is having his lunch today?
Dr. Savant.
Thank you.
Not bad, eh?
Rather pleasant.
Sexy little thing, isn't she?
Her. Sexy. Come on, it.
Yes?
I understand that you can authorize the making of the translation from Thai.
Yes, for those who bring me their documents.
What sort of documents?
Personal registration.
Sorry, could you sell me a...
Oh, I wish I could. But I've only 3 left.
Sorry, I see.
It's okay.
Why do you actually need the personal registration documents?
Well, it's like this, you see. How shall I put it? I'm sorry, Mr. Ross, but I'm used to speaking Thai Tepe, and it's rather difficult for me to find the correct word in actual language.
Go on.
In Thai Tepe, one would say exaggerate. My colleagues sometimes nudge up on too much, and at the same time, they keep forgetting Nasdri Kampong.
Tack snälla för er snor med min snälla grej. Ja, Mr. Gross. Man är snälla för er snälla grej. En snälla grej. En missnöjd med snälla grej.
They think they can simply send Chad, and I'll give him an okay, and that will be the end of it. Don't they realize that if our statistics are to make any sense at all, we must have detailed information about everybody who comes into contact with Taipei in order to get the greatest possible variety of sociological and psychological data. Otherwise, we just couldn't carry on.
I can carry on.
Look, wouldn't it be enough if just chap himself told